Good morning, honorable members of parliament from all over the world, young members of parliament. Sorry I could not join you, but I can join you here. Instead of giving a speech, let me tell you a story. One day, children went camping up the mountains and they ended up in a cave. And in that cave, they saw scribblings on the wall. One, the word environment. Two is the word development. What is the word environment? And then they saw a hermit who was living in that cave. They approached this hermit. They said, "Mr. Wise Man, what is the meaning of the word environment?" And instead of answering that question, the hermit asked another question. He says, "Children, does the environment mean about the birds and the bees, about nature, about our surrounding, about ecology? Or does the environment mean life and the sources of life, of land, air, and water?" Easy to remember, LAW, the law of life. You take out one, or you poison anyone, life is threatened. Climate change, we need a climate of change. We know the problem. Who is the problem? We know the solution. Who is the solution? Everybody wants change, but who wants to change? And that brings me to the other title of this talk, the other theme of this talk. The most important theme of this talk is the time for talk is over. We must begin a movement for real change. And that movement does not come from our generation, the generation that failed you. It must come from your generation, the young of the world. And where does change begin? Does it begin with parliament? Does it begin with the speaker? Does it begin with the prime minister, king, the president? No, it must begin, all change must begin within. Jonathan is going to distribute to you this piece of paper, which is a personal commitment. You can read it, you can fill it up, and then you can send it back to us. And if you do, we will invite you to a collective action, to a little global legal mischief, where we will tell a story, put the issues on the table, spark action, and maybe arrive at the resolution in the highest court of the world. And it is not going to be me or members of my generation. It will be you, my friends, because you have the highest stake. The young will call out the governments, will call out the governments of the world in the highest court of the world. And it will not be in a proceeding that will be adversarial or confrontational. It is called a request for an advisory opinion to the International Court of Justice. And the question is, what are the duties of states to protect life, including human life, of the present and future generations from the climate crisis? What happens during the hearing if it goes there? When we get that, when the ICJ gets that request for an advisory opinion, an invitation is sent all over the world. All governments must submit its position. And that is where we will again mobilize the youth of the world for them to take strong, sustained action. And this picture, I've been there several times. And there's a nice garden here, and we hold that hearing, we will have a party in the garden. My friends, but how do we get to the ICJ? That is where you, young members of parliament, can be of great help. You can organize a youth movement in your respective countries to be the change that they want to be, to take personal, and then join us in the collective action. In April 22, there will be next year, there will be a simultaneous filing of petitions around the Philippines and probably around the world to compel governments, to plead, not compel, but to plead with the governments to address the climate crisis. But before that, we need a UN General Assembly resolution to seek the advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice. Again, what are the duties of states to protect life of the present and future generations from the climate crisis? We can call this, the ICJ also stands for Intergenerational Climate Justice. It also stands for I am climate justice, because I, meaning you, each and every one of you, will be the change that will do justice to future generations. My friends, they say humans are most active when they are standing up. They are most creative when they're lying down. And the compromise is to sit down. You've been sitting down for a long time now. So may I ask all of you, as a symbol of action, may I ask all of you to please stand up. Stretch your legs. And may I ask all of you to read this little poem with me. Do not read it to me. Do not read it to your speakers. Do not read it to your presidents. Do not read it to your kings. Read it to this little boy and little girl who represents the children of today and the children of tomorrow. Your own children, your own grandchildren in the future. Do not read it from your mouth. Do not read it from your stomach. Read it from your heart. And please read it aloud. Begin. 10, 50, 100 years from now, and many generations hereafter. Let it be said that during our watch, while gifted with intelligence and insight, with privilege and position, with the wealth of wisdom, and with the freedom and power of the human will, let it be said that in our time and during our watch, we did our share. And maybe, just maybe, we will make a little difference. My friends, it is easy to make money. It is easy to make a name. But at the end of the day, it is more meaningful to make a little difference. You have made a difference in your respective countries. Now it is time for you to make a difference for the whole world. Thank you and good morning.